Hello guys, it's Susanna here. Well, I am back with another video. I thought I would show you, I'll move this out the way. I thought I'd show you my finished bowl. I had finished the inside, but I hadn't finished the back. So here is what the back looks like. I put the yo-yo on here, on the opposite side because it was darker there and it had faded on the other side. And I've done some edges, and I've used this beautiful wool that I got from Gina Ann. Hi Gina Ann. And then I hang on, I got distracted by a pin over here. Oh my goodness. I loved how, I think it was Rachel or Sarah, or maybe both of them had done it. They stitched on the edge, and I just used it to go all the way around. Then I went around this to sort of, I wanted it to have a bowl feel. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. I actually folded the edges over and just did a slip stitch on some of it. Used a yo-yo on one of it, so yeah, so I thought I'd better finish my bowl, and I'm using it at the moment to put in my pieces that I am sewing for my jacket. So I thought I'd show you that and where I'm up to with my jacket. I had previously filmed this, but then I zoomed in. This is why I don't zoom in. When I was stitching these, just to get closer, and you know, I ended up being off camera, and I was umming and ahhing, and it wasn't the best video. So I thought I'll just show you the finished. So I've just finished sewing this down. The hat was up, so I was slowing that down. I still haven't finished. I've done the blue just to tie that in, and it really does. It ties in really nicely with that. And I've gone around the actual leaves, not the leaves, the flowers in this darker colour. I just wanted them to pop a bit. And here was the bit that was torn, and I just sort of did a invisible stitch and then stitched over the top. So I'm probably just going to do, you know, stitch down on the lines and around, and then that's it. So I won't do too much more because I really like the fabric. So just around the actual flowers, which I've started here, and that's it, I think. And then I've got this, I've stitched this down. I'm probably going to get, I did have a piece of something. I might even have a button. I might put a button on there. I was thinking it would be really nice to do seed stitch in the cream. I think that would be good, just in that, to hold that down a little bit and then makes those flowers stand out. I won't stitch on them, but I'll make the background, so I do the opposite. Maybe put a button on there. Got some of these buttons. These are my favourite, you know, a lot of buttons that I've got there. As in the mother of pearl. I used one of these, yeah. I might use it on there. I use that on the other side. Let's see how we go, but I'll probably grab one of those. So that's mostly sewed down, apart from doing some seed stitch. I wonder if I do it in this colour. It might be too dark, but it'll blend in that. We'll see. We'll see. And now I've got this to do. I've stitched down the outside of this, and I've stitched down some of this, and I've also thought I need a second yo-yo. So I've had this yo-yo, which I've got that still attached to it. I am going to put that underneath and then stitch down. So what I was thinking was I might stitch this down with you and then come back and stitch those yo-yos on. So nothing too exciting. Now, do I go light? Or do I go darker? I think I might go darker. Maybe that colour I'm thinking, because that matches. Okay, so I hope you are all well and are enjoying the process of me doing these. I've actually got my sleeves on standby. These are my sleeves, and I've got bits and pieces that I'm going to be working on it with. I've got these two, which are those that I found, you know, when I went to the Smythesdale Antique. So I'm going to use those on each, and I've got this, and I'm probably going to use these little bits and pieces to sort of hold that down and go around, and maybe put a button in between. But I've also got this piece which I'll use on the other side, so they're going to get a bit of application. I've got that from Forage's piece. I might even take that off. And I thought I peeled it off because I want that, but I don't want the thickness. But then this is old backing fabric too, so I might, here, there you go, to get rid of that. And I may use some of that in there because it is sort of a vintage fabric, so be nice to use a little bit of that as well. You know, got some of these pieces that I need to use. Where's this blue? That, and I've got this light blue, but then I'm going to do a pop of a little bit of red, so I might use some of this. That is what I'm going to use. I may unpick it because I don't like how it's got these creases in there, and maybe use some of that, probably use a little bit of that. So these are the colours and bits and pieces that I want to use for my sleeve, so when I come to doing that I will take you along for the ride. So that's the last bit I've got to do as far as you know, designing wise. So move that over, move that, and grab a needle. I've been loving the comments I'm getting from you guys. Very, very encouraging. Really appreciate it. And even though, you know, the views aren't as much on these, the ones that are watching are the genuine watchers that are enjoying it and really enjoying watching this piece come together. You know, not every bit of content is for everyone, but I figured I'm sewing anyway, I might as well turn the video on and you know, yap and stitch. I do love it, I do love it. And this is really nice. I might go around this with a couple of just little straight stitches in the red, I think. Are we going to do that? There's this red, which I think is probably the perfect colour to suit that, so I may use that. I use this variegated colour on these, so it's getting a good workout. And then I bought this when I bought the stuff in Smythesdale because I want to stitch some of this down, because see how it's really pulling apart, and so if I figured if I did a light stitch it might you know, stay put a little bit. So they're the plans I have. So yeah, everything does need to be stitched down, so just the regular stitching. This is the best way when you go up and across, the way you're saving a thread. And going across, yep. Might do a few little crosses here and there. Haven't got a great deal to stitch on there, just that little bit around there. Got to pick what colour. I wonder if I do a bit of that to blend in some of those. I don't know. We'll see. So how are you all going? Hope you enjoyed your Easter weekend. I enjoyed mine. Had a lot happen. Had my younger son got baptised over the weekend. I had visited my husband's mum and dad, and then my family had a bit of a get together on the Easter Monday because it's still a holiday. It's always nice to get together with the family. Not that you get a word in edgewise when there's so many yappy alphas at the Venom gigs, which is my side of the family. Being the youngest in a large family, don't always get a word in edgewise. But I'm getting sassier in my old age. You walk in the door 2 steps and you're already getting insulted by family. So I've learned to tell them to plug it. Just because you're the youngest, they think you can put up with everything. But maybe the youngest, but I'm 55. Put up with that crap. So yeah, you love them, but they drive you nuts. It's always the way, isn't it? Pick your friends, but not always your family. But I do love them. We have fun when we get together. But when there's so many different personalities, okay, and alpha personalities, sometimes you get clashes. That's what I remember going to one of the weddings of my brother, and he said one of the guy that was doing the wedding, he goes, "Oh, the Venom is so many chiefs, and not too many chiefs and not enough Indians." So yeah, all alpha personalities. And go now. We'll just go back down, and I thought that's the truth. So I'm sure we've all got family stories. Yeah. At our Christmas, Easter gatherings, I'm sure we've all got some classics. Uncle Joe doing this and Auntie Betty doing that. Yep. Okay. It's almost about 100 in my immediate family. That's the siblings and their partners, and then now we've got the grandkids, and now the grandkids are having the kids. It's a lot. So needless to say, we don't always get together on a regular basis. Even then, I think, how many were there? Of the original siblings, I think there was only 7 when there's 11. My mum did have 12, but number 7 passed away when he was a baby. So out of 11 siblings, sort of 7 of the siblings, and then you got the grandkids and that. That was still a lot of people. Just as well, my sister's got a big house now. Okay. And then you tend to have, she's got 2 living areas, and in the I get along really well with the oldest grandchildren because I had kids with the grandkids, and me and my brother, I'm the youngest, and I've got 2 other brothers above me. We always tend to hang out with we're the cool uncles and aunties. That's what they tell us anyway, because we're the youngest, and then sort of the older ones hung around in the other lounge room. So all the cool ones. So yeah, it is good. Always telling stories about what we got up to. Mischievous lot, I tell you. Especially when there's so many boys. Never a dull moment. Now, okay. Oop. Do I put that there? Yeah, get it out of the way. I do love this. I'm glad I put that in there because it just sort of breaks it up. It's a good colour. Might do a few more. Actually, probably because that's going to be where the yo-yos are, so there's no point. I've just got to get it down because you may not even see any of it. So I actually might use this thread to stitch down the yo-yo because I reckon I've got enough of it. So basically all I'm doing is just stitching it down because you probably won't see a great deal of it. I say to my husband the other day, I said, look, putting all this work and effort into it, I really hope I don't stuff putting it together. He goes, yeah, I was thinking that. It just sort of reminds me of when I did the Hendrix hair, you know, I loved all the work of stitching individual parts and putting it, and then when it come time to put it together, flipping heck, oh, nearly threw my neck out trying to get, it was just so big I could barely get the needle going through, putting all the legs and everything on. And then Corinne's got visual images of me just, you know, getting my foot on there, and it was pretty much like that. I said, whose dumb idea was this? All fun and games until the part where you can't get it together. But it should be fairly easy. It's a fairly basic construction. Should be okay. Famous last words, isn't it? So, all else fails, I can always go to my sisters. My older sister's a good sewer. And just go, help, done all this other stuff. I need your help putting it together. But I think it should be okay. Okay, now, okay, we can probably take that out now. Then we get this. Where's my, oh, that's the empty one. Get a little bit of this. I should put this underneath first as well. I always like to put a little bit of this on there just so I don't have to pin it. Might do the same with this. Okay. Maybe I do finish that off. Yeah, so you get this little pattern when you go sideways, and so you're not using as much. So I might finish it off. I'm sure I'm going to use it in other pieces in this thing. Still got my 2 sleeves to do, so it will not get wasted. Okay. Yeah, good idea not stitching that down. And then having that like that. There we go. I reckon I could use this thread to stitch them both down. Okay. Where's my thing? So probably the next video you may see me doing the sleeves, I think. Okay. This is a very tiny little hole. No, too small. Yeah, this one's a little bit better. It's long. Okay, even though we have got stuff on them, never hurts to put a pin in it. Okay. So that's, I think when I put it together and then I just put it out there so that it's got somewhere where I can just do a slip stitch. That's all we need. Doesn't take long for the needle to drive me nuts. Don't want to get jabbed by it. I've got so many pin pricks. Poor little fingers. And we're all in the same boat. Like, I tend to jab myself there a lot. I think I need a thimble for my thumb. I've got the one that Jeanette gave me. I should probably put it there. God, I love the yo-yos. After I've finished filming this, I'm going to go out into the kitchen and I'm working on some packs. So I'll have to have them. I've had them sitting there for a while. I've got these really nice, they're men's shirts, so they're beautiful cotton, and probably only got enough for six packs. These really nice, and they're in the blues and sort of like purpley mauve colours. So yeah, so I'm going to be making some packs, and I've grabbed all the purpley yo-yos that I had in my stash. So you got some, going to get some vintage yo-yos. I'll probably have some lace. I've got all the buttons that go with it as well because they're shirts. So you got matching buttons. Yes, I've got those packs, and then I want to make other packs using up those beautiful tablecloths that I bought from the Smythdale thing, and I'll probably put some of this in there, some of that in there, vintage. So yeah, so I've always got to keep on top of it and make some nice packs that I can share. I enjoy putting them together, and I mean, it is a lot of work. The last one where I made the fabric book packs, they were a lot of work. And quite a few days in the kitchen where I had to, you know, my kitchen bench, because I don't have the room here. I've got a real big island in the kitchen, and you know, always shoving it to the end of the bench so that I can prepare food and meals. So yeah, it took probably a good 5 days to get those organised. So yes, it may seem like, you know, I put out a lot of these things, but it does take a bit of time. I enjoy doing it because I like playing with colour, putting colour together. But I know from my point of view too, it's always nice to get coordinated fabric kits. It's you know, someone's thought out and done all the work for you. Well, that's where I got the fabrics for this. You know, these bits and pieces were you know, the French fabrics that Deborah from Doll's House Vintage, and you know that the colours are going to work. And yeah, it's always nice having the work done for you. Gets done pretty quick, doesn't it, when you think about it? I'm going to put that baby down. Such good thread, this. It's just one of those. Smythesdale actually had some when we went in with the girls. They had a whole heap of this, and it's just really good, strong thread, but still thin but strong. I had that one given to me by a friend a while back. Okay, I'm going to go down and sew this, and then I'm going to have to go back across. Once I've sewn this down, I may just stop. All depends. Or I might just continue on with that. Okay. Just love how a yo-yo gives a little something something to your piece. Going to go down. Ugh. Going to go down and then just come out here. How's it going on this side? Proven to be a little bit. There we go. I might put this down just in case it ends up going underneath, which it looks like it may. Yep. Okay. See, when you look at it, it's not really that hard, just a tiny little slip stitch, which does get done in no time. Just put me on, do your work, have me yabbering in the background along with you. I'm having a coffee and do some stitching. Still got a little bit more work to do on the flowers on the Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, so still working on that, but I've done the fruit and the ceramics, so that's good. So I'm just after the last prompt. There we go. And we'll see what that is, and I've got room for it, so it's all good. Okay. Okay. I got plenty of it, I'll just throw that. Okay, where's my pin cushion with all the pinheads? Okay. I think we're pretty up to date with these. And I think it looks like I've already done that there. Oop, just as well it dries. And then I'll come back and do that. Not sure what colour. Needs to match both of those. Probably put some buttons on those, because I put buttons on the other ones, but sometimes they look alright without them if they're the middle is small. I like it to have a small middle. Need to Okay, what have we got? Just pick out something. Oh, I was going to use that on here. And then what else I got? What else? Do you like that? That might go nice around the outside. I don't know. What do you think? Nope, too red. I feel like Goldilocks. It's funny, that was the perfect colour on the other side. Need something that's going to work with that. I wonder if this will work. It's stranded cotton and it's a pink and red. That might work actually. Okay, so what I'm going to do for now is I might grab this. Probably use it on there. I think that's one I got from Forage a while back. When I did the, when was it? The Woodlands course, I think, in our school. So I might need something, whether I just do a just a couple of little bits and pieces. I don't know. We'll see how easy it is to get through. And we'll have a look what time we have. So it's mostly done, and we're 32 minutes already. So what I'll do is I'll just stitch it in. Start here. Maybe just do a couple of stitches like I've done with the rest of them. Yeah, I think that'll be nice. Maybe even do a few little crosses. That'd probably work. Now, do I do one more cross? Yeah, I think so. Better be careful. It's the trouble when you're doing stitching, you bring it close. Okay, and then it's a bit thicker because it's a, you know, a applique, so it's got a bit of bulk underneath. There you go. This is a true to form stitched together heart. Sometimes it's like that over time. Okay, might do a few more crosses here just to do the usual you know, Susanna thing. I like doing this stitch and just adding a few little crosses here and there, sort of like rustic. Geez, it's thick in some points. Okay. So you've got the drift of what I'm doing. You'll see I might, you know, put the bits and pieces like that together in the thumbnail, so you can see how it's all going. I think it is beautiful, and then we're going to do those stitches with thread, and that'll work in all right because I'm using this. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay guys, well I better go, and I will catch you a little bit later. You probably can't see that. Here we go. That's what it's looking like. Just enough to stitch it down and for me to see it. Okay, thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.